The slap came out of nowhere. "You're done here, Emma. Pack your things and get out." Emma Carter stood frozen in the middle of the luxury hotel lobby, her cheek still burning from her manager's hand. Around her, guests stared, some shocked, others already pulling out their phones to record. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she tried to process what had just happened. "But Mr. Harrison, I was just helping some homeless man." Harrison sneered, his face twisted with disgust. "Do you have any idea who you just embarrassed?" That was Gerald Thompson, CEO of Thompson Enterprises. "He was here incognito, testing our service, and you led some filthy stranger right past him into our restaurant." Emma's mind raced back to 30 minutes ago. The elderly man in worn clothes, shivering outside in the rain. His quiet voice, "Please, I just need something warm to eat." The way his hands trembled. She'd seen her own father in those eyes before he'd passed away last year, before everything fell apart. He was hungry. Emma whispered, her voice cracking. "He needed help, and now you need a new job." Harrison grabbed her arm, his fingers digging in hard enough to bruise. "You cost us a potential partnership worth millions." Mr. Thompson walked out the second he saw that vagrant in our establishment. Emma yanked her arm free, tears stinging her eyes. Her 7-year-old daughter Lily was home with a fever. The rent was due in 3 days. She'd been 1 month away from finally getting ahead of their bills. "Please," she tried one more time. "I have a daughter. I need this job. Should have thought about that before you played Mother Teresa." Harrison's smile was cruel. "Security will escort you out. And Emma, I'll make sure every hotel in this city knows what you did. You'll never work in hospitality again." Emma's hands shook as she shoved her belongings into her locker. The employee break room felt suffocating, the walls closing in with each breath. She could hear Harrison's voice echoing from the lobby, probably already spreading the story to anyone who would listen. Her phone buzzed, a text from Mrs. Chen, her neighbor. "Lily's fever is 101. She's asking for you." Emma's chest tightened. She grabbed her purse and headed for the back exit, trying to avoid the lobby. But as she pushed through the service door, she nearly collided with someone. "I'm so sorry, She looked up and froze. It was him, the elderly man she'd helped, but he wasn't wearing worn clothes anymore. He stood there in an immaculate charcoal suit, his silver hair perfectly styled, eyes sharp and assessing. Behind him stood 2 men in dark suits, security. By the look of them, "Miss Carter, isn't it?" His voice was different now, stronger, commanding. Emma's mouth went dry. Yes, sir. I'm so sorry if I walk with me." It wasn't a request. Her mind screamed at her to run, to get to Lily, but something in his tone made her follow. He led her to the hotel's executive conference room, a space she'd only ever cleaned, never entered as anything but invisible staff. He gestured to a chair. Emma remained standing, her knees locked. "Do you know who I am?" he asked, settling into the chair at the head of the table. "Mr. Thompson," she whispered, "CEO of Thompson Enterprises. I didn't know. When you were outside, you looked homeless." Yes, that was intentional. He steepled his fingers, studying her with an intensity that made her want to disappear. "I do this periodically. Visit my properties in disguise. See how my employees treat people they perceive as beneath them." Emma's stomach dropped. "This is one of your hotels?" "One of 43. His expression remained unreadable. "You're wondering why I'm telling you this, especially after you've just been fired for helping me." She couldn't find words. Her phone buzzed again, Mrs. Chen. Lily needed her. "I'm offering you a choice, Miss Carter." Thompson leaned forward. "But first I need to know, why did you help me? You must have known it would cost you." Emma's throat tightened. The question hung in the air between them like a test she hadn't studied for. "My father," she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Before he died, he lost everything. His business failed, and he ended up on the streets for 3 months before I found him." Tears burned her eyes, but she blinked them back. People walked past him every single day, looked right through him like he was nothing. By the time I tracked him down, he was sick. Pneumonia. He died 2 weeks later. Thompson's expression shifted, something flickering behind his eyes. "So when I saw you out there in the rain," Emma continued, her voice stronger now, "I saw him. I saw every person who could have helped him but didn't. And I promised myself I'd never be one of those people, even if it cost me." She laughed bitterly. "Guess it did." Thompson stood abruptly. "Your daughter, Lily, isn't it? She's sick?" Emma's head snapped up. "How do you—" "I know everything about my employees, Miss Carter. 7 years old, attends Madison Elementary, loves drawing. You work double shifts to afford her art classes." He pulled out his phone. "And her fever is currently 101 degrees. Ice flooded Emma's veins." "Are you threatening my daughter?" "I'm offering you a job." The words didn't register at first. Emma stared at him, certain she'd misheard. "Executive assistant. My personal staff. Salary starts at $200,000 a year, full benefits, housing allowance." Thompson's voice was matter-of-fact, like he was discussing the weather. "You'd be working directly under me, managing my schedule, attending board meetings, handling sensitive information." Emma's legs finally gave out. She collapsed into the chair. That's not possible. I'm a housekeeper. I don't have a college degree. I don't—" "You have integrity. In my world, that's rarer than any degree." He moved toward the door, then paused. "But there's a catch, Miss Carter. And it's not a small one." Her stomach clenched. Of course there was a catch. There was always a catch. "Harrison, your former manager, he's my nephew. My sister's only son." Thompson turned to face her, his expression grave. "If you accept this position, you'll be working in the same building as him. He'll fight this with everything he has. He'll make your life hell, and I won't interfere with how my staff interact, even family." Emma's phone buzzed again. Another text from Mrs. Chen, this one with a photo of Lily curled up on the couch, her small face flushed with fever. "I need an answer now," Thompson said. "Accept, and you start Monday morning. Decline, and I'll still make sure Harrison's blacklist doesn't follow you. But this offer expires the moment you walk out that door." Emma looked at Lily's photo, then at Thompson. Her daughter's face made the decision for her. "I accept." Thompson nodded once, crisp and businesslike. "Be at Thompson Tower, 32nd floor. Monday at 7 a.m. sharp. Security will have your credentials ready." He moved toward the door, then stopped. "And Miss Carter? Don't disappoint me." The door closed behind him with a soft click that somehow sounded final. Emma's hands trembled as she grabbed her things and rushed home. Lily was asleep when she arrived, her small body radiating heat. Emma spent the weekend alternating between caring for her daughter and panicking about Monday. $200,000. It was more money than she'd seen in her entire life. It was also a target on her back. Monday morning came too fast. Emma stood outside Thompson Tower in her only professional outfit, a navy dress she'd bought at a thrift store for her father's funeral. The building stretched into the sky like a glass monument to wealth she couldn't fathom. "You must be Emma Carter." A woman in her 50s with kind eyes approached. "I'm Patricia Hayes, Mr. Thompson's senior executive assistant. I'll be training you." Emma followed Patricia into an elevator that moved so smoothly she barely felt it. The 32nd floor was all marble and floor-to-ceiling windows. Patricia led her past a maze of offices to a desk positioned directly outside a massive door labeled CEO. "This is you," Patricia said, gesturing to the sleek workspace. "You'll manage his calendar, screen his calls, prepare briefing documents. He's demanding but fair. Keep up and you'll do fine." Emma was still processing when the elevator doors opened again. Harrison stepped out, his face going pale when he saw her. "What the hell are you doing here?" "Working," Emma said, surprised by how steady her voice sounded. "Like hell you are." Harrison stormed toward her, his face flushing red. "Uncle Gerald, what is this? Some kind of joke?" Thompson emerged from his office, his expression cold. "Harrison, meet my new executive assistant." "Assistant? She's a housekeeper. A nobody." Harrison's voice rose high enough that heads turned throughout the floor. "She cost us the Wellington account. She showed compassion when you showed cruelty." Thompson cut him off. "Now get to your office. We have work to do." Harrison's face twisted with rage. He leaned close to Emma, his voice low and venomous. "You think you've won something? You just made the biggest mistake of your life." He straightened, his smile sharp as broken glass. "I'm going to destroy you. And when I'm done, you'll wish you'd stayed in the gutter where you belong." He walked away, leaving Emma's heart pounding against her ribs. Patricia touched her arm gently. "Don't let him get to you. He's all bark." But Emma had seen that look before in the eyes of people who'd watched her father suffer and done nothing. Harrison wasn't all bark. He was a man with power and a grudge. Thompson's door opened. "Miss Carter, in my office. We have a board meeting in 20 minutes, and you need to know what you're walking into." Emma grabbed her notepad, her hands still shaking. As she stepped into Thompson's office, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Enjoy your first day. It'll be your last." Emma deleted the text with trembling fingers and stepped into Thompson's office. He was already on his phone, his tone sharp as he ended a call. "The board meeting is about the Wellington merger," he said without preamble. "Harrison told them you cost us the deal. They want you gone before you even start." Emma's stomach dropped. "So I'm already fired?" "Not if you can prove him wrong." Thompson slid a folder across his desk. "Gerald Thompson Sr., the man you helped, wasn't homeless. He was me. But the Wellington account? That was real. Marcus Wellington walked out because Harrison insulted his assistant in front of him, called her incompetent trash. Wellington's wife started as a secretary. He doesn't tolerate that behavior." Emma's mind raced. "Harrison blamed me to cover himself." "Exactly. And in 15 minutes, he's going to tell the board his version. I need you to tell them the truth." Thompson's eyes locked onto hers. "Can you do that? Stand in front of 12 executives and call my nephew a liar?" Her mouth went dry. She thought of Lily's fever, the eviction notice she'd hidden under her mattress, the $3 in her checking account. Yes. The boardroom was arctic cold and twice as hostile. 12 faces turned toward her as she entered behind Thompson. Harrison sat at the far end, his smirk visible even from across the room. "Gentlemen, this is Emma Carter," Thompson announced. "My new executive assistant and the reason we're having this conversation." "With all due respect, Gerald," a silver-haired man interrupted. "Your nephew has already explained the situation. This woman brought a vagrant into our flagship property and—" "Let her speak, Richard." Thompson's voice cut like steel. Emma's legs felt like water, but she forced herself forward. "Mr. Wellington didn't leave because of any homeless man. He left because Mr. Harrison called his assistant incompetent trash right in front of him. I was there. I heard every word." Harrison shot to his feet. "That's a lie. You're trying to save your job by—" "I have proof." The words came out before Emma could stop them. The room went silent. Harrison's face drained of color. "What proof?" Thompson asked, his tone carefully neutral. Emma's heart hammered. She didn't have proof. She'd been bluffing. Desperate. But then she remembered the security cameras. The hotel had cameras everywhere. "The lobby security footage," she said, praying she was right. "It'll show everything." Mr. Wellington's face when Harrison spoke. The exact moment he decided to leave. Harrison's smirk vanished. "That footage was erased. Standard protocol after 30 days. Actually," Patricia's voice came from the doorway, "I pulled it this morning. Mr. Thompson asked me to retrieve it before the meeting." She held up a tablet. "Would you like to see it, Mr. Harrison?" Harrison's face went from white to crimson. "This is a setup. Uncle Gerald, you can't possibly believe." "Sit down." Thompson's voice could have frozen fire. The tablet was passed around. Emma watched the board members' expressions shift from skeptical to disgusted. On screen, Harrison's cruelty played out in high definition, his sneer, his dismissive hand gesture, Wellington's immediate anger. "I've seen enough," Richard said, his voice icy. "Gerald, your nephew has cost us a $200 million merger and attempted to frame an innocent employee." Thompson stood. "Harrison, you're suspended pending investigation. 2 weeks, no pay. If Miss Carter hadn't spoken up, you would have destroyed her career to save your own skin. You're choosing her over family?" Harrison's voice cracked with disbelief and rage. "I'm choosing integrity over nepotism." Thompson turned to Emma. "Miss Carter, thank you for your honesty. The position is yours, effective immediately." Harrison stormed out, but not before leaning close to Emma's ear. "This isn't over. I know things about you, things that could take your daughter away." The threat hit Emma like a physical blow. Her past wasn't pristine, there were gaps in her work history. Months when she'd struggled with depression after her father's death, Times when Lily had missed school because Emma couldn't afford the bus fare. As the board filed out, Thompson approached her. "What did he say to you?" "Nothing." Emma lied, her voice hollow. "Just threats." But Thompson's expression told her he didn't believe it. And when her phone buzzed with another text, this time a photo of Lily leaving school with the caption, "Such a sweet child. Would be a shame if CPS got an anonymous call." Emma realized Harrison's war had only just begun. Emma's hands shook so violently she nearly dropped her phone. The photo of Lily burned into her vision, her daughter's innocent smile, unaware someone was watching her. "Miss Carter." Thompson's voice snapped her back. "My office. Now." She followed him on autopilot, her mind screaming. Inside, he closed the door and turned to face her. "Show me." "I don't know whatever Harrison just sent you. Show me." Emma's fingers fumbled as she pulled up the text. Thompson's jaw tightened as he read it. "He's threatening your daughter." "I can handle it," Emma said, but her voice cracked. "I'll just quit. I'll leave and he'll stop." "No, he won't." Thompson moved to his desk and made a call. "Security. I need a detail on Emma Carter's daughter. Madison Elementary, 7 years old. Immediate protection, discreet." He hung up and looked at Emma. "Harrison doesn't stop. He never has. That's why my sister sent him to work for me. He was fired from 3 companies for harassment." Emma sank into a chair. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I needed to see if you'd run." Thompson's expression softened slightly. "Most people do. They take the easy way out. But you didn't. Even now, knowing what he's capable of, you're still here." "I have to be. For Lily." "No." Thompson pulled out another folder. "You have to be because you deserve to be. Everything Harrison threatened to expose, I already know. The depression, the missed work, the times you chose feeding your daughter over paying rent." He slid the folder across. "I know everything, Miss Carter, and none of it disqualifies you from this job." Tears burned Emma's eyes. "Why are you doing this?" "Because 30 years ago I was homeless. Actually homeless." Thompson's voice went quiet. "After my father's company went bankrupt, I lived in my car for 8 months. A woman, a housekeeper at a hotel, she brought me food every night. Never asked for anything, just helped." He met Emma's eyes. "Her name was Sarah. She died before I could repay her. So I built this company in her honor, and I test my employees to find people like her. People like you." Emma's phone buzzed. A text from Harrison. "Last chance. Walk away or I destroy everything." She looked at Thompson, then back at her phone. Her fingers moved before she could second-guess herself. "Do your worst. I'm not going anywhere." The reply came instantly. "You just signed your daughter's death warrant." Emma's blood turned to ice. Thompson was already on his phone. "Security, lockdown on Madison Elementary. Now, possible threat to..." The office door burst open. Patricia stood there, her face pale. "Mr. Thompson, there's been an incident at the school. Police are on site. They're saying..." Emma was running before Patricia finished the sentence. Thompson was right behind her, shouting orders into his phone. The elevator took too long. Emma's vision blurred with tears as worst-case scenarios crashed through her mind. They took Thompson's car, his driver weaving through traffic while Emma called Lily's school over and over. No answer, no answer, no answer. When they finally arrived, police cars surrounded the building. Emma jumped out before the car fully stopped, running toward the entrance. An officer grabbed her arm. "Ma'am, you can't. That's my daughter. Lily Carter, 2nd grade. Where is she?" "Mom." Lily's voice cut through everything else. Emma spun around. Lily was sitting on a bench near the playground, wrapped in a blanket, a female officer beside her. Emma collapsed to her knees in front of her daughter, pulling her into a crushing embrace. "Baby, are you okay? Did anyone hurt you?" "I'm fine, Mommy. The nice man was just taking pictures of the playground. He said he was a photographer." Lily pulled back, confused. "Why is everyone so scared?" The officer cleared her throat. "We apprehended a man taking photos of children without permission. He had no credentials, no reason to be here. When we searched his car, we found..." She glanced at Lily, then lowered her voice. "Evidence suggesting he was hired to do more than take pictures." Emma's stomach turned. Thompson appeared beside them, his phone still pressed to his ear. When he hung up, His expression was granite. Harrison just fled the country, booked a flight to Brazil an hour ago. He looked at Emma. But his financial records show a payment to a Michael Ross, the man they just arrested. The police have enough to connect them both. Emma held Lily tighter. So it's over? Not yet. Thompson crouched down to Lily's level. Hi there. I'm Gerald. I work with your mom. Lily studied him with serious eyes. Are you the reason she's been happy again? The question caught everyone off guard. Thompson smiled, something genuine breaking through his usual composed mask. I hope so. Over the next week, Harrison was extradited back to the United States. The evidence was damning texts, payments, detailed plans. He was charged with conspiracy to commit kidnapping, harassment, and criminal threats. Emma testified, her voice steady as she recounted everything. In the courtroom, Harrison's mask finally crumbled. He looked small and pathetic, nothing like the monster who'd terrorized her. 6 months later, Emma stood in Thompson's office, reviewing contracts for a new partnership worth $500 million. She'd proven herself time and again, mastering her role with a determination born from nearly losing everything. Patricia had become her mentor and friend. The other executives respected her. And Lily? Lily was thriving, her art now displayed in the building's executive lobby. Thompson looked up from his desk. The board wants to make you vice president of human resources. They believe your perspective, understanding what it's like to struggle, would revolutionize our company culture. Emma stared at him. VP? But I've only been here 6 months. And in those 6 months, you've implemented 3 programs that increased employee satisfaction by 40%. You created a fund for employees facing financial hardship. You changed this company, Miss Carter. He smiled. Or should I say, Miss Vice President. Tears pricked Emma's eyes, but this time they were good tears. She thought of her father, of those 3 months he'd spent invisible on the streets. She thought of the version of herself from 6 months ago, terrified and desperate in a hotel lobby. I accept, she said. On one condition. Thompson raised an eyebrow. You're negotiating with me? Always. Emma smiled. The Employee Assistance Fund? I want to expand it. Partner with shelters. Create job training programs. Hire people who've been homeless. Give them the chance. No one gave my father. Thompson stood and extended his hand. Deal. As Emma shook his hand, her phone buzzed. A text from Lily. Mom, guess what? My drawing won first place. The teacher says I'm going to be a famous artist. Emma looked out the window at the city below, the same city that had once seemed so cold and impossible. She'd walked through fire to get here, but she'd emerged stronger. And now she had the power to make sure others wouldn't have to burn the way her father had. She turned back to Thompson. When do I start? You already have, he said simply. Because sometimes the people society overlooks become the ones who change everything. And sometimes a single act of kindness creates ripples that transform not just one life, but hundreds, proving that compassion isn't weakness, it's the most powerful force in the world.